Western League of Legends across the last patch in Korea, for example, in 8.14. 1 total pick, 1 total ban across the LCK, so a regional difference there. Not everyone considers it that strong. And Echo Fox right away get a powerful jungle pick, so we'll see if Jat's prediction of Lee Sin into this kindred will happen, or if they can shut down Dardoch at all in this champion.
I do not think we're going to get that. You know, I think it would have been more likely, had it been Xmithie picking the kindred, that Dardoch would go to the Lee Sin. It would be somewhat surprised to see Xmithie going to the Lee Sin here, expecting probably more something along the lines of a Gragas. But we will get to find out if that is going to be the option. And a blue side ban for Nocturne is also a bit atypical. It has been very popular in the NALCS, but it's mostly been the first rotation red side ban.
But instead, it's that Aatrox at the table, and the Akali as well. Akali has remained somewhat of a mainstay here in 8.15 in the NALCS. And Varus picked up here for DoubleLift, should feel comfortable. Of course, it's one of Lost's best champions, so also a bit of a steal. And it was almost going to be Gragas, but no, Braum alongside, and we will see if a jungle is picked up at all in that first half.
Yeah, I could still do that third pick, Gragas. Not a really high chance of Echo Fox taking it away. You know, yes, you can put it top lane, but Huni does not strike me as the guy that really wants to go for that. And recently we have been seeing mostly low tank compositions from Echo Fox. They really do kind of like to go very heavily towards, you know, damage dealing teams. We've seen a couple of Rumble games in the last couple of weeks, a couple of GP games in the last couple of weeks here for Huni.
And Tahm Kench, Ashe coming through in the bottom lane. This is actually a G2 special. Shout out to the European LCS, and then Gragas being hovered. But yeah, it gives Ashe the chance to go in to start fights for the team, which I always really respect, having hard crowd control. Functions similar to Varus, a comfortable champion for Lost, but also keeps that champion safe. Ashe without a lot of escapes, Tahm Kench keeps her in a good spot. So a very strong duo down here. I think Lost is still going to be comfortable, and that could be the tax of Red side, having some semi-forced bans and things like Aatrox and Akali, and willing to give him a more comfortable champion instead of target banning there was Team Liquid. And as the bans come through, there is that Rumble you talked about earlier. You know, some of Huni's most comfortable champions now getting removed, and we'll see what he's going to play later on in this draft.
Wouldn't be surprised by a Gnar ban here also, or GP. Either of those, I think, make a lot of sense because we are likely going to see Impact playing a tank. That is usually what he is doing, and lots of teams have been kind of just pre-counter picking their opponent. So it is GP taken off the table. That makes a lot of sense. Impact could go Gnar here if he wants to have a blind pick that's not going to be as abused in those sort of matchups. Otherwise, likely going to see him lock in a tank, and then Huni would have the opportunity to go for that full-on split push style Gnar that we saw him showcasing, I believe, earlier this split. It was week 7, against TSM, where he did go, you know, full-out split push, Rage Blade, everything.
Well, of course, you see that second round, second phase Zoe ban right here, so no easy Zoe pickup for Team Liquid, but a Malzahar is available if they want that one. And I'm curious if Gnar comes through because I think there's some matchups that can feel good, like a Camille or an Aurelia top lane. Aurelia with the buffs, totally pro-viable. Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like letting Huni play a comfortable champion into a matchup where he can be the win condition is maybe scary, but it's what Liquid's opting into. Yeah,
I mean, I think this draft makes a lot of sense, but you can see both teams are playing so much to the other team's tendencies. Echo Fox is saying, you're not going to save your counter pick for Impact because he's just not that type of player, or he has not been this split. So they just ignore top lane bans completely. They do double bans on Pobelter to stop any potential really tough counter picks coming through. You know, TL on the other side, all focus on Huni because they do not want him abusing Impact in any potential counter matchups up top lane. So ban out the counters for Zilean, pick yourself a Zilean. Huni is actually going to be the tank this game, so he is going to be on the losing end of this matchup, but we'll see if Impact can really take over and if he's going to actually build for that split push, as we would expect Huni to on the opposite end of things.
Absolutely. Right now, looking at the counter pick on Liquid's side towards the mid lane, you know, Mark Z said the Echo Fox style should be copy Cloud9, but what better way to do that than play the famous kindred Zilean duo? Dardoch and Damonte hoping to do what Blackbird could do, and so the Shuriman Emperor will be joining in. Two champions as old as time itself here. Old guy matchup in the mid lane.
Yeah, and Azir actually works very well into Kindred with the ultimate interactions there. You can actually shuffle them out of that Kindred ultimate and kind of make it your own. This is pretty exciting because, you know, Pobelter, last week we were talking to him a little bit on NALCS Night, and he had told me that Azir was actually what he wanted to play previously. He thinks Azir is still quite strong, so he's going to be able to get an opportunity to bust that out here. That is definitely pretty cool.
And of course, pre-game, we heard DoubleLift say that he thought the bot lane matchup, he was looking forward to it because he thought they were far, far better than Lost and Smoothie. So far, Smoothie have been decent as a duo. Of course, DoubleLift has incredible accolades and incredible history as a player, so no slouch, of course, in his own right. And I want to see if that one does play out. Does DoubleLift smash like he thinks he will in this 2-on-2? He says he can take over the game from bottom lane. But there are lots of positions of power here for Team Liquid. Lots of power as well for Echo Fox that Ashe can get out of lane and do crazy things. Let's see what that looks like here. Players on your screen getting ready to go. It's going to be a fun one.
Going to be really interesting watching this bottom lane matchup. We'll see if either player can take over.
There we go. Liquid on your screen. Echo Fox shortly. And this is going to be the first game of the day. The first game of the week. Team Liquid locks in the #1 seed in playoffs with a win. Echo Fox still actually fighting for a position in the postseason. Good as their spot may be, they still have some games to win. And here we go on to the Rift for game 1.
And it's very interesting because we saw the DoubleLift interview earlier, you know, had some smack talk for the Echo Fox bottom lane, but Smoothie was on NALCS tonight earlier in the split, and you know, when asked kind of who were the best bottom lanes in the league, notably DoubleLift and Olleh were left off that list. You know, he did not consider them to be one of those best bottom lanes. So it'll be interesting to see who really does come out on top here. And that was when Smoothie was on C9, so obviously playing with different players himself, but still worth mentioning.
10 gold. Echo Fox are rich. Damonte is running out of health. All right, not the easiest start to the landing phase. Does have time to recall, though. He won't miss much here. But it pads the stats in Pobelter.
One lane.
Yeah.
It's not his fault if they lose now. Made him base, level 1.
You did
What's
200. Yeah, he made him base level 1. That is one of the best landing phases you could hope for.
Yeah.
Asterisk being...
before minion spawned.
It's fraudulent.
Still counts.
Still counts. So open, of course, to make some guesses on where the junglers start. You saw Dardoch kind of walk up in the top river, then coming back down towards his red buff. Smoothie trying to keep them from warding aggressively, and in fact, 10 gold given back over.
You can see Impact even trying to invade over a little bit to try to push up and find out, is Huni leashing? Where is the jungler going to be? Both of those top laners using a very early ward here, and this is going to be very interesting. This is something Huni is also going for Comet. So this is something I've been seeing more and more Cho'Gaths do into ranged matchups. This is something I think I was talking with you about last week. Into Quinn and some of these sorts of matchups, you can actually do this. And Gnar is another one where you're essentially just playing it to kind of poke the Gnar more heavily, be able to kind of make it through that laning phase. It's not really for lane dominance, but if the Gnar is not bullying you, you are likely going to be more baseline effective in the team fights.
And keep in mind, the E does count as a spell. It triggers Comet. We saw that earlier in the landing phase. It's also a slow, which actually guarantees Comet lands. I'm pretty sure he's running Scorch on top of that. So, yeah, just the E autos will tend to put him close to in range of tagging that Gnar. And in fact, a early health lead for Huni if you look at those sort of icons in the top corner.
Yep.
With Huni pushing as well.
And you can see Impact was kind of knowing this matchup, knowing that he is going to take some harass. Did go for fleet footwork. So this is not a press the attack Gnar. This is not, you know, an airy Gnar as we see people do in kind of the full-on hard-winning matchups. So is making a nod towards that.
And even a Doran's Shield, which you sometimes see Blade as well. So yeah, an aggressive... I've actually seen Cole in some matchups, but either way, quick hotshot comes out and says, okay, Gragas did a partially full clear. He did not go up for the Wolves just yet, but also seeing the kindred mark on the bottom side. Smoothie will double back after Red and Raptors and come grab this. He'll be safe with all of this, and Dardoch sadly, yeah, not going to get any stacks early on, but may have some time to do something else special. Walking by a ward, though, on his way to the top side.
And he's a camp ahead, right? You know, he has done Wolves plus all the same other camps as Xmithie. So, yes, he does not get that bounty, but he is going to be able to take a scuttle of his own. He is going to be one camp ahead, potentially take away the Gromp from his opponent here, too. And, yeah, he's narrowly not going to be spotted by that zombie Boro.
Yeah, there was still a ping, though, on those Krugs, red ping, so actually they know Dardoch wants to go steal these Krugs away after seeing him take the scuttle earlier. They know his pathing, so there shouldn't be dive ball on Impact side. He knows there's a kindred nearby, but a quick trinket ward makes sure Dardoch feels safe. And either way, though, end of the day, is Dardoch is going to have an early lead in this jungle pathing. Kindred, of course, scaling a lot with gold, is going to be happy being ahead.
Yeah, really the case. And, you know, Xmithie, you'll notice, is playing Predator. So if you haven't been watching any LCK, this is something that has been popping up a lot there in the playoffs. Spirit, I believe, was one of the guys who really did kind of popularize it and had a lot of success with it. And yes, you are not as tanky as if you went Aftershock or something along those lines, but the idea is essentially that if you can get that perfect engage with your Predator, you will force a cooldown or get a kill. And in the early game, Gragas' ganks are so powerful, so this is just yet another way in. You can now have lane ganks that are even more effective, where you're just straight up Predatoring into lane and body slam, flashing and finding different angles of approach that weren't necessarily available to Gragas without that summon.
Yeah, the idea is kind of breaking the rules of the game tends to be very, very powerful. That's what he's going to be hoping to do here on this Gragas. Normally doesn't run very fast. Dardoch on more of his camps. You can see actually this is going to end up being a solid 2-camp lead, but both of those camps up being Krugs is actually even more golden XP than even the CS counter shows you.
Yeah, Xmithie can't catch that up because Dardoch took the camp on his opponent's side, took the camp on his own side. Here is the Predator gank, is looking for it, but definitely not an effective early Predator use there from Xmithie, as Huni had it warded out, was able to back off very easily, and Xmithie is kind of left just looking around, trying to find some opportunities because there's nothing for him to farm.
And Dardoch is going to spot that control ward, so beautiful stuff there, and Impact's going to be knocked in the air. This could be some really good damage. Silenced, but Huni no mana and not level 6 cannot convert that into a kill. That might force that first TP out of Impact. And in fact, Dardoch making his way up there, hoping to make sure he can't stay around. He's almost going to spot Xmithie, and I believe they see that they're both around. And with Xmithie blocking, he's going to get rid of that Ghost Portal, get rid of the bonus stats. And that's going to be on cooldown for a minute now.
Yeah, so both junglers really kind of just tracking each other, playing pretty well in these early stages. Dardoch, you can see, is kind of waiting out, though, for this next Scuttle spawn.
Attack's confident. There's no mana on Huni. He's going to go for this fight really hard.
Body slam flash.
Nice knockup. Now does Xmithie join in time. Level 4. Body slam flash going to land. Flash get away. This could be the kill, and it's going to be the wallop to grab first blood. The disrespect of Huni is punished.
Yeah, Huni not respecting that the flash could follow that body slam. As soon as you see the body slam, you must flash there, and he does not do it. He tries to flash after. He gets taken down. And Impact, who had been being bullied, who was down farm, who is building towards a cowl as his first item, is going to be rewarded with first blood. So this is now when Xmithie is spotted. Huni knows he's coming in. As soon as the body slam goes, you have to flash, because after the flash is used, you cannot react. He flashes on top of you into your model. You are instantly knocked up there. No time to react afterwards, and they do take down Huni. So well done from Xmithie and Impact, and they're going to have an early advantage on the top side.
And that's going to bring the gold back into their favor. 400 gold lead for Team Liquid on their quest for that first place seed in the playoffs here to rejoin their victory from Spring Split. And so far, so good on this side. Huni's back in. Quick Glacial Shroud on his end. Cooldown reduction in mana pool, of course, both things that are nice to have on the Cho'Gath side. And he's going to try to make sure everything looks okay on this one as the buffs are spawning once again. And Dardoch kind of unslowed, going to grab the red without many issues. Looking at the bot lane real quick, when you have a pretty meaningful CS lead for DoubleLift. Now, this is a lane where Lost even had Summoner Teleport, did not use it to get back to lane. They both took their Vamp Scepter recall and walked individually.
And it is interesting, you know, it's fairly close and some minions here to pick up, but you know, for Huni, this has kind of been a typical game for Huni recently, where he is often able to get 1v1 advantages, but he puts himself in these risky spots. He doesn't always respect the power that the enemy jungler has when they could show up, and as a result, he's often then throwing away those advantages that he has built, right? You know, he was winning this laning phase. He was up in farm. He was doing very well, pressuring his opponent, but you know, doesn't go back to base early enough, does not actually early flash, goes down, and we'll see if this is going to be enough of a swing for Impact to really start getting an advantage on that top side, because so far he is still the one that has kind of been on the receiving end of most of this punishment.
Yeah, thankfully regenerating a bit thanks to his passive, and actually a fairly high base health regen Cho'Gath has, but the blows. Lost might need to be chomped up. He's taking a lot of hits right there, and I don't know if he was waiting for Smoothie to grab him or what that quite was, but now a cleanse out on that spellbook. Tahm Kench, his actual cleanse, and out they go. Might be taking some damage here from Olleh.
Yeah, the piercing arrow hitting there, it was a bit of a late devour from Smoothie, so he's going to take some more damage, and likely will get the TP out here now. Also, does have that, and is going to be happy that he didn't spend it on early, but you know, DoubleLift and Olleh forcing that cleanse means Smoothie is going to be a lot more vulnerable to any potential ganks. You now could look to maybe bring down Xmithie and try to actually target Tahm Kench.
Absolutely the case. That is usually the one you want to go for in a lot of cases here, but see what happens. Still has his flash, and he's spellbooked over to Exhaust, so it's still a 2-summoner spell champion, and yeah, diving with Exhaust against you can be difficult. Either way, blues are spawning. Damonte gonna grab this one, no problem. I'm assuming Pobelter got his a little while ago, handed it off, and we'll see that. Thank you, Observer. Yes, it is.
Yeah, so mid lane really has just kind of been a farm fest. Both these guys pretty much even, as Damonte is going to pick up the rest of his farm. Should be within 1 CS, and they're both really good at wave clearing. They're both really good at kind of just stabilizing these lanes, and neither champions are super aggressive, so it's going to be more about how they actually contribute to the team fights, I think, later on.
Yeah.
Zilean, I see much more of an enabler, someone who's going to be there to speed up and revive and really kind of empower his teammates. Whereas Pobelter, it does have the potential to engage on this Azir, but also is such a tremendous high amount of kind of DPS coming from the back line.
So different roles for the two mid laners right now, and Dardoch hatching his own Ghost Poro. Wanted to make sure everything's okay, and not going to find any fights, but Will, after watching that ward go down, is going to go for this solo Cloud Drake right here, and of course he's bypassed all the vision. A nice trinket ward placed down earlier on. We'll see if Gragas is coming by. This should be an undisturbed pickup, and a nice Drake solo here. This is very, very nice. There's the pickup right there, and Cloud Drake on the board. 10 minutes in for Echo Fox. The move speed going to be quite nice, I do believe.
Yeah, really, really smart from Dardoch. I mean, there was no camps really up, and now he can go get his wolves. He already had the Blood Razor, so he's going to be able to do that very easily, and it's just a smart play from him, something that he can get as one of those easy advantages. You have your Dance of Arrows to hop back over the wall and get out if anyone did come to pressure. So the sneaky play pays off, and we'll see if Xmithie can make anything happen here on the bot side, but that Scryer's Bloom should have given him away. Yeah,
probably gave away his location. Look for rewards, look for where Kindred might be. That's going to be wrong as well. And Dardoch just continuing to grab objectives. He is, as far as pathing-wise, I would say, out jungling Xmithie, taking camps away. Now Pobelter, got to watch out for this one. He's coming down, maybe is looking for something, as Smoothie and Lost are now stuck in their jungle and away from their turret. There was a threat of a dive. The 4v2 was going to be too much. A lot of XP being sacrificed and a lot of health going down, and DoubleLift and Olleh, with very, very little help from the team, wins straight up in the 2v2. First turret gold will be grabbed eventually. They're denying golden XP first. This is more stuff that Lost is not getting. Yes, Scuttle and Cloud Drake are nice, but there's the extra gold coming in. The 2-on-2 is a victory for Team Liquid. DoubleLift called it, and he was right.
Yeah, I mean, the 2v2 certainly, they had some advantages, but also the threat of the 4-man dive is really what made Echo Fox give that up. The fact that Dardoch is on the scuttler up top and taking away the Rift Herald, they didn't know where Xmithie was, so even after they saw Pobelter, Xmithie could still be looking for the 3-man dive, so that pressure that they get there results in that first turret, and we'll have to see, can Dardoch make that Rift Herald worth it? Can he get a kill into 2 turrets? Can he make something pay off? Because really that is quite a sacrifice to give up your bottom lane turret this early on, and could start to disturb some of the other lanes.
Really nice stuff though. Team Liquid finding opportunities in terms of lane pressure, whereas Fox's opportunities have been Dardoch getting more camps right now. Kindred, again, still one of the better ones to get that extra farm on, but Liquid are certainly, so far, the better team today in the first 12 minutes of this game. A solid 1,000 gold lead. Ruin King already done now for DoubleLift. He's got a really nice power spike for himself as well. Has chosen to stay in the bottom lane. I find it interesting. He's not actually moved over to find another turret to kill. Of course, there's no neutral objectives on top or bottom side, so it's only lanes you can play for right now.
Yeah, and one of the reasons I can see for this is okay, yeah, you can go mid and try to attack the Zilean, but really Zilean is going to be able to wave clear that so easily regardless. I would have thought they might have wanted to swap top, but they may want to actually fully reset this wave before looking to do so, and we could see them head up to top lane now to try to pressure the Cho'Gath, but leaving Impact farming alone in that lane isn't too bad either. So if your solo laners are happy just farming and scaling and you feel confident about your late game, you don't always have to kind of push the tempo and look for those more aggressive sieging moves.
And you've got Azir, who's generally not only the Emperor of Shurima, but the Emperor of late game mages. So Team Liquid waiting around for endgame is, I think, completely acceptable and a fine way to play this one out. So yeah, ball's in their court, I think, absolutely. Looking very good. You saw the drop down earlier. We'll repeat it again. Team Liquid lock the #1 seed. And there's the TP coming in for the flank. This could be a really big deal. They're going to go for the big play. A great ult does not come out in time. A better one for Xmithie. And now where does Echo Fox go?
Nowhere.
3, 4 coming in. No one's going to stop them. Maybe a play for the top. If they summon the Herald up there, they'll trade a turret for this one. But both these players' days are numbered. Xmithie grabs the kill on one. Pobelter on the other. And the top lane turret goes down. So how much gets happened here?
They're going to get 2 turrets. They're going to get 2 turrets here for sure. So this is actually not bad for Echo Fox. We'll see what Liquid can actually get, but 2 kills for 2 turrets. I actually favor the position here for Echo Fox, especially when they were playing from a disadvantage. The bottom lane was able to buy enough time. DoubleLift though.
Flash ult across, slowed down. He's coming in soon. There's the flash, so then he burns the cooldown. The ulti gonna land. He can revive, and there could be some reinforcements. 3 versus 2 for this one. A nice knockup's gonna land, and the rest of the team coming around. Now it's 4. It's more people for Team Liquid's side. Damonte still running. Ult on cooldown. Dardoch slowed. A stun and a Huni flash in the wall, but there could be a chase. Braum stacks are on. One more auto, and Impact gets a stun to this one, but could be pushed away by Dardoch, and that's going to be the timer running down to the Braum queue. They'll try again.
Nice
Huni's on the run, but there is the stun. This could be the damage. Kindred will buy some time, but still 4v3 Liquid to make this one big. Now Smoothie's here as well to reinforce, and Echo Fox able to get away. Tahm Kench there in time.
The disengage was so good there for Echo Fox, so really in that extended play, you still have to favor Echo Fox, despite the fact that TL gets those kills. It is 2 turrets on the top side, and the Rift Herald almost killed the inhibitor turret.
Yeah.
He almost got 3 turrets because TL was busy actually chasing the players. Here this is one more time. Heads up play from Lost and Smoothie trying to ult out, but Xmithie anticipating it, shuts that down. Very good stuff from him. This guarantees that they're going to get those 2 kills, but then it's just buying time for Echo Fox. They're trying to kite it out. They're trying to make them spend as much time as possible because Dardoch has already dropped the Rift Herald top side. That has already got them 1 turret. They do get the 2nd turret, and they get the charge on the inhibitor turret here. So Echo Fox get a lot.
That inhib turret is going to be capped at 1,100 HP. I like this. He's waiting for the mark to move over. This is Dardoch. Some of the Kindred main stuff. There's, I think it's 40 seconds for a mark to move. And he's waiting for the turn off because he knows there's no mark in the enemy jungle. I think he sees that Gromp was killed. Maybe he's waiting. Yeah, Xmithie never killed off Gromp finally, so he's like, all right, it's not coming. But he was hoping. He was hoping that Gromp was going to die and it would move over to him. Sadly, not going to happen there. Down to the Wolves he goes. But I like the attempt. A solid option there.
Yeah, not a lot else he had to be doing on the map at that moment, so I think it's reasonable to try to go for that extra mark. And he is sitting at 2 of those marks right now. Definitely needs the 4 for the 75 range. That is what we always like to talk about, is really kind of that key moment. And you can see he's heading back up to top side. They could potentially just knock down this turret. It looks like they want to pressure for it, but
it'll take like 3
would be
auto
risky.
attacks. Yeah, but right now it's so far up. They've killed no other turrets. It's very hard for their team to join us easily, whereas Liquid, it's all home territory for them. And indeed, it will be Echo Fox backing off. Some wards killed, but still more in that jungle. And Dardoch hoping he can have the reinforcements. 4 Echo Fox members in this side of the map. The Zilean not far. He's setting up as well.
And Pobelter is just soloing the Dragon at this time because they're holding mid lane. They're not too worried about them trying to make a mad dash up there for the top lane. So once Pobelter actually completed his Nashers, they have sent him down to the bottom lane. He has just been kind of happily farming away while the rest of the shenanigans were happening on the top side. And he's nearing 200 CS. We're not even at 17 minutes. So Pobelter farming at a very good clip and is going to be a huge threat in those late game stages.
And I'm waiting to see then what Damonte gets done on this Zilean. First time I'm seeing him play this champion here. And Pobelter, we know what Azir is going to turn into. We know Pobelter is a very solid mid laner by any LCS standards. We expect him to have some very good team fighting. And he's going to be found out by Huni. Cho'Gath wants to take a bite out of crime. Almost takes down the Emperor, but a summoner heal gets him just high enough to not die. But Pobe, out of summoner, walks away.
Yeah, nicely done there from Huni. It's good to go for the opportunity. He does trade ult and gets the summoner, but calm play from Pobelter. Doesn't actually have to use the flash. Does survive himself, so not too big of a deal. And you can see Smoothie cheating up towards the top side, so if they want to get too greedy here, they could potentially fight around this.
Okay, waiting for it there. Not feeling people just going to back off. They might find themselves a Cho'Gath, and I think he's going to walk away, no problems here. Now looking at the player on this side of the map.
Looking for the dive.
2v1, Impact is a Mega Gnar potentially soon, but this could be good damage. Flashing, hopping, getting back through his minion line as well, but Dardoch's still on for this one. Finds some damage, and he will almost get that missing health hit, but not quite there.
But should be able to knock down the turret, you know, with the Zilean on it. We'll see if Kindred can come back, finish it off. That's the flash down. Very nicely done. Zilean really does set up for those plays very well with the time warp. That slow is very impactful, despite the fact they couldn't land the double bombs. No way for Impact to stand and fight there because Zilean has the revive. They have the Kindred ultimate to reset the turret, so they could just stand and take so many turret shots before they're really in danger of going down.
That one happens. Now again, the attempt for Pobelter. The knockback is here because Xmithie has joined the fray, and this could be enough damage to knock down Huni. In fact, he will drop. TP might come in, but it's a 1 versus 2. Damonte can get rid of minions only Team Liquid find yet another gank,
4-man
4-0 with kills, and 4-1 under this turret now. Damonte, he's ghosting away as fast as he can. He's got a flash, he's got an ultimate, but he's not able to use much of that. Looks for damage to Pobelter, not going to find it, will not even burn the revive. He knows he's going down, doesn't want to buy the time. Meanwhile, the fight in the bottom side is Dardoch. He's going to chase down into Impact. Tahm Kench coming from behind as well. 2 versus 1, nowhere to go. Gnar is flashless, and they will make sure to donate the kill. Good job to Smoothie to not attack anymore. 3rd mark in, I believe now.
4th now.
4th, okay, good call out. And of course, mid's under attack. So back and forth across the map, different lanes being attacked. Lost will get this turret down to 40%, but has to leave as here comes a Varus. But a teleport now coming in. Echo Fox, want to make this happen. Arrow over the walls of Flash, though double stays alive. And it will be mid lane outer falling down. 4-1 is the turret score. Echo Fox are doing well in the macro in the mid game.
Yeah, they really are, but Pobelter will at least trade one back on the top side. TL has been winning the fights, but definitely has been Echo Fox with the better plays around the map, attacking turrets, getting farm advantages, and that is where they have gotten their edges. Here it is, Huni looking one more time for Pobelter, but Xmithie was behind him, catches him just barely with the edge of that knockup, makes him feel like he can go in. This is a really well-placed ultimate, and look at how Pobelter just kind of skirts around the ultimate, so Huni cannot actually ever really close that gap to get on top of him. He's essentially playing inside that wall. And then when Damonte gets in with the TP, no way out as the 4-man squad makes the collapse here for TL. Yeah. Nice plays for them, but at the same time, it was Dardoch playing back on that bottom side of the map, joins up with Smoothie, gets them on the board. They're pressuring those turrets. They knock down mid. So this is a very close game, despite the fact that the kills have gone heavily in the favor of Team Liquid.
Very interesting. This one is absolutely 600 gold apart, equaling the Drakes even. As Baron spawns 30 seconds ago, and it's Echo Fox first to start setting up for it.
I mean, when you look at the farm advantages, you can really see the discrepancies here. You know, DoubleLift is up over 20 farm, 24 CS right now, but look at the top lane. That is almost a 50 CS advantage for a 0-2 Cho'Gath over that Gnar, and you know, Impact is building towards a Blade of the Ruin King here, is going for that split push style, but we'll see if he ever actually hits that point where he can take over in the 1v1, because for now, he is the one that is behind, and Dardoch is having a big farm advantage as well. So those guys really are the pair for Echo Fox that, you know, kind of a lot of the onus is going to be on.
You can see here, while TL's fighting for that first spot, Echo Fox lock playoffs. They can't be forced into that Optic TSM side of the tiebreaker and be too far ahead of them for that one to go on. Now, looking at the next plays, though, Echo Fox once again just sitting on a small deficit, but they're gold in various places. Some of these guys have leads. It's coming down, looking for a little play towards Xmithie. Gonna be okay. Not gonna get into that one just yet.
And we'd be really interested to see how well Zilean Kindred looks in practice in these team fights, because how you layer those ultimates is actually very, very important. You don't want to overlap. You don't actually want to waste them. You have to be able to communicate very well in which situations who's going to use the ultimate first, because you may be expecting Dardoch to ult first, but if he gets CC'd, then you have to be able to change plans and, you know, have the Zilean ultimate to kind of back him up. So there's a lot of very quick decisions that have to be made, and if you do them perfectly, it can feel so hard to actually finish off any of these kills.
That's nice. Gave some XP over to Dardoch for that one. But yeah, difficulty in kill is going to be important. I do want to see how well these fights can be cleaned up at the end of it all. Consider that Lamb's Respite into gigantic burst tools, such as the Cho'Gath ultimate, can turn things around in what would otherwise be a close fight, but the same for an Azir ultimate, pushing people out and making it a one-way ultimate. Yeah,
I mean, the Shurima Shuffle, the explosive cast coming up from Gragas, you can both knock those guys out of there.
All right, another cleanse being used up here. Olleh, no, sorry, a QSS rush onto him. Get away from Ashe now. Okay, knockup's there, but the ult's not quite gonna land, and now in goes the push, and Cho'Gath a little bit alone, but he could get the burst. Olleh, one hit from dead, gonna be revived by Zilean, and Pobelter puts a flash over the wall. This could be too much health for TL to push through. Huni getting a bit low, but grabbed by Tahm Kench, and Pobelter still running a bit injured, under 1,000. Dardoch wanting forward on a double, this could be too much. Xmithie go for that play, not quite gonna find that slow just yet, and they're both gonna be able to walk away. All teams safe, but now we're onto that Ocean Drake.
Yeah, Echo Fox will get the Dragon out this, and they actually force 3 flashes there, so do come out a little bit ahead, and actually resources expended as Team Liquid was kind of pushed back by Huni, and we see the power of the Zilean ultimate there, bringing him back up, and then Tahm Kench kind of scoop him out of danger as he does revive. So Echo Fox, no kills on the fight, but well managed, and they will get pressure, they will get Dragon.
Ocean's gonna feel pretty nice for how split pushy this game has been at points. Cho'Gath, of course, already has War Mug, so it's not really in a need for it, but more ways to survive against impact split pushing, getting poked out and walking back away.
And the mana is always going to be helpful, right? Sometimes that is kind of the limiting factor. We will see here as DoubleLift now has the Rage Blade. He has Blade of Rune King. This is super high single target damage, and I think because there are not a lot of melee that you're expecting to be in your face, it makes sense to go for something like this first before perhaps, you know, a Hurricane or a Zeal item, because really for him it's just going to be about hitting Huni. You can't walk through a Cho'Gath. You have to burn down him first. And I think with the Blade of Rune King on Impact, with the Blade of Rune King on him, Nashor's Tooth and everything on Pobelter, TL really want to play a front-to-back style of game and try to use their ultimates to disrupt, to split up the fight, have Xmithie knock him in, kill off Huni, and these sorts of things.
Yes, and the only question, though, is how long can your front line survive?
Yeah.
Even if Huni's burned down by 2.5 Blade of the Rune Kings because of the Rage Blade stacking it in, you're still facing a Cho'Gath with a Zilean revive backing it up, but at a certain point, there's too much health on the Echo Fox side. Meanwhile, AP Gragas is your front line that's not, you know, building mostly attack damage Gnar and a support tank. So even though they have things like Azir, that health bar might just not be big enough anyway.
Yeah, and that's why it's going to come down to lots of playmaking. Anytime you have a Gragas, it's very less about your kind of base stats and your base damages and more about how you place your ultimate, who you actually hit with the body slam. I agree, if they just walk 5v5 and all just hit each other, then probably Echo Fox is going to win, but if the explosive cast knocks the Zilean backwards as it knocks Huni forwards, well, maybe you don't get that Zilean ultimate, and then maybe Echo Fox collapses in the team fight. So it's a lot about how well you can use these little things.
And that's why I love movement as skills, because they're so dynamic, they can create such crazy scenarios in the fights. Separation going to be a big deal if teams looking to keep them apart from each other. Otherwise, I think Ball of Stats might be hard to deal with. Now attempt here for Huni, but Rune King by impact, but he's going to flash for a silence into not getting the knockup. Huni went really big. He bet the farm, and it might just be burning down in front of him now. Case up, running away, losing the flash, but otherwise staying alive.
Yeah, that was an aggressive play from Huni, to say the least, and that's it, the knockup now.
Round 2, 1,000 health onto impact, and keep in mind that Feast does a lot of damage. It's more than 700 true damage at this point. So, I mean, that right there was most of the way to killing impact.
Yeah, I mean, and he's up over 60 CS, and you have to remember, it's 700 true damage on a Blade of the Rune King Gnar, who does not have a ton of HP. This is not someone who built that Frozen Mallet, has an extra Giant belt in his back pocket, so he is a very squishy boy, and so far, this Gnar has really not been working out too well for Team Liquid. He has been the one getting bullied. He is the one that is way down in the farm, not having side lane pressure, and he's going to have a harder time in the team fights too. Yeah. But that being said, as the game goes further and further, he may be able to take control there and still has the potential of a big play.
Of course, and to give him some credit, he's also the one being sacrificed. You don't get CS numbers like Pobelter and DoubleLift have without them taking the farm that Impact would otherwise have liked to have in like a solo queue game, for example. And they're saying, yes, Gnar, you'll have to do with less items and less CS. You'll have to deal with this because they're more worried about getting their backline carries, and that can still fight them if they need more tank items on him, but that is where allocation of resources has gone.
And that's why it's always kind of interesting, you know, and it's the argument of, do you pick a strong matchup to survive, or do you pick a strong matchup to dominate? In this case, it feels like, you know, they have picked this matchup to just have Impact survive against Huni and say, hey, we're going to win elsewhere on the map, and that's going to be our win condition, but Echo Fox TPing in.
That's going to be a stun on a Pobelter. Cho'Gath is behind them. Gnar's going to spot him for a bit of time, though, and here comes the collapse ulti used to slow him down. This could be now the re-engage, as Braum's ulti is a disengage. It's no actually Liquid running, but now they've got that Azir turret locked up, and this means Echo Fox will be running away and letting that passive timer tick down. However, multiple ultimates used on the one end, only the Ashe arrow for the Echo Fox side.
Yeah, really calm play here, though, from TL to be able to actually get away from that TP flank. And Echo Fox does have mid lane pressure. You can see Gragas hanging out on the side, and Impact is moving over, so they know the potential threat of a Baron is there. A lot of damage on this Echo Fox team with double marksman plus a Feast to secure that, so they're going to have to be really careful at this point in the game.
Missing 2 ults is this team fight. Team Liquid going to walk forward, not going to be knocked up, though. That Rupture didn't quite hit the front line, but still missing those 2 ultimates for quite some time. A while to go until you got Mega Gnar, that Varus ult or Glacial Fissure. But the Baron bait did not do anything. Echo Fox are losing time. Eventually those ults will come back and that TP will still be down.
But Echo Fox has side lanes pushing. Those are going to gather up, and it's going to be TL that has to go and respond to this. You can see this wave is stacking. Top lane is stacking too. So as soon as Impact shows, Echo Fox can start the Baron and try to bait his TP.
Good damage out of Dardoch fighting. Olleh actually going back forward again. Half HP down to that one. Mid lane turret falls. That was the Azir summon.
Baron.
And Olleh is low. Dardoch's going to zone the team out. Smoothie. There's the team waiting around as well. Damonte puts the turret down. This Braum might have to recall all the way and Spellbook a teleport back or something. And this Baron's still dying in the fog of war. When does Dardoch come over? 9,000 health on this one. Pope goes in for the play, goes for the knockback, looks for Dardoch, puts the Lambs to fight down, and here comes the actual team fight as the rest of the team joins in. Gnar's there, a giant stun! And they got 1 kill plus a revive, but Tahm Kench is dead, and Huni's gonna fall as well. 2 for 0. Liquid wants some more. They're gonna get a trade kill back, though. The trade-up fight is not gonna be enough. Liquid absolutely slaughter everyone as Dardoch falls, and it's a fight 1 5-2.
Yeah, 5-2, and they can just take this Baron here, and they are right onto it. Might take a while, but they have the time. They've gotten the kills. Liquid do manage the fight well, and despite the fact that they had the side lanes pushing, despite the fact that they had those advantages, Echo Fox are going to be the ones losing the Baron.
And with the turret falling, that's a small benefit to the side, but there's, I think, no stopping this Baron from slowly but surely dying. So even though the gold looks close, that lead's going to double. The teammates will probably not respawn in time to gain this buff. I think Liquid will rush this down. Still 10 seconds to go. But still, Baron buff on 3, gold lead almost 4,000. This inhib will survive, I do believe.
And that's what happens. Despite the fact that it was that 5v4, they should be able to keep it alive. And, you know, they have Impact TPing in, but there is a little bit of split focus here. So, yes, they're doing a great job zoning out, but when the fight actually breaks out, Pobelter goes in to start this fight. And look where Huni is and how long it actually takes Huni to get around and get involved in this fight. Huni is doing nothing this whole time, right? So your numbers advantages aren't really doing anything for you. You don't have that big frontline tank to actually protect your marksman. Yeah. And by the time Huni arrives, he's low enough that he actually just gets burst down and doesn't really contribute much. So Echo Fox wanted to try to make his own play, but they're engaging again.
For the repeat now, the stun lands and Olleh gets chomped down into the stack for the Cho'Gath. So Liquid, despite being down the Baron, gonna go to grab another Drake for themselves. Mountain on the table, that'll be picked up.
That is a stone place feast there from Huni, so massive damage from that feast, and he's at 8 stacks, so definitely is going to be a big boy, and they will grab a dragon here for themselves. Still such an even game, 30 minutes in. TL does have the advantage, but it's not that big.
Okay, mid-outer gonna fall though as well, and maybe I take mid-outer for a Mountain Drake in most cases.
Definitely.
Plus top tier 2, absolutely the better play now. So Liquid actually getting more out of this, even though Echo Fox got that consolation prize of a Braum for lunch.
And you can see that Impact is going to be building towards a Guardian Angel here also. Xmithie, going back into some tank items, has his Dead Man's Plate, so a lot of item completion coming through for TL. That is the biggest deal. They have the Death Cap, and it's only pieces for Damonte. They have that 3rd item on DoubleLift, and it's only the beginnings of that IE for Lost, and that is why they are so strong right now on the map.
And off they go, and still lots of time to work with. Team Liquid in such a great position now. That Baron fight was great. Want to give Pobelter a big shout out for choosing to engage, seeing Cho couldn't join, and it was the fight that definitely broke this game wide open now for Liquid.
Yeah.
Resets come through. We'll see what the last minute and a half is spent with.
Echo Fox really, I think, just felt that they would be able to kind of just slowly play this out, keep the rest of Liquid zoned, and burn that Baron down very slowly with 2 members, secure it with the feast, and everything would have been good. But it was that engage from Pobelter that really makes the fight break out in a way that Echo Fox was not prepared for. And they are playing from a disadvantage now, but they have been down in gold for a lot of this game, and certainly still are going to have their opportunities to win in the team fights later. Zilean, Kindred, and Ashe are all going to be very strong in that late game, and they have a huge front.
But still room for Lost to grow. He's waiting to finish Infinity. It's going to be a really important power spike. It's worth a ton of gold to finish. And of course, he's just behind DoubleLift in items. Individually, that gold difference, 2,500 almost. That's gigantic between these marksmen that multiplicatively scale with their items. So here comes the attack for bot tier 2. A quick silver sash comes through, and that turret goes down.
They are going to knock down another one. Now up turrets for the first time in the game, I do believe, here for TL. Well, actually, they got first turret,
but that lasted
there, but
12 seconds.
It was a long time of those kind of map advantages, and now with this Baron buff, they've knocked down mid, they knocked down bot and top, so TL taking map control, really starting to extend that gold lead, and Echo Fox is just trying to delay, I think, for those 3rd items to come through for a lot of the members. Now they have the IE.
Yeah, it's going to be this power spike. This could be the push. Baron buff times out right now, and it could be the moment of striking. Nice try with the Gragas. Not going to land, though. Is this yet? No, it's not yet the time for Echo Fox to go in. That maybe was a signal. Look at Impact, though. Bit of damage here. Has a Guardian Angel, but really being chased down by Dardoch. Slowed down, but there's reinforcements coming in. Pobelter walks in, knocks back the Zilean, but he stays alive. Will they knock him down? Yes, Pob is gone. He overextends as Cho comes in. So a 5v4 and the chase is in. Olleh running low on health, trying to run out, and he's going to just barely. And the deflection, huge for Gnar, but Lamb's Bite buys time. 5v4 and the re-engage. Will it be enough for EchoFox, or can Liquid find the shots? And DoubleLift does. The arrow pierces and knocks down the Void Beast, and now the chase is in. Impact wants one. Looks for Lost, like we're gonna get that Q. And he has Guardian Angel, he's safe to walk forward, but won't lose that the same. 4v4, gold lead. Team Liquid staying on the map.
But the top inhibitor may fall here. EchoFox has so many minions up there, and Team Liquid are actually gonna lose an inhibitor on the play.
Maybe?
I think they will. It's
close.
I think they're gonna lose it. It's too low, it's gone, I think.
I think it's likely as he pulls aggro.
Oh, the minions!
He's got most of the aggro. It's close. He's trying.
Oh my god.
Oh!
He's actually saved it. He saved it.
He saved it. Impact saves the base.
Oh my god.
TSM, take notes.
Those are some low IQ minions. It's right there.
Oof.
All right, well, still pretty crazy fights breaking out here. A lot to unpack. Here it is one more time, chasing over onto Impact. Then he knows TL is coming, so they back up. The pre-Zilean ultimate came out from Damonte, and they are able to land some nice bombs. Huni flashes over. It looks like they are starting to win the fight, but as you funnel into this Cho'Gath EchoFox, you have to be wary of the turnaround. Look at this ultimate from Dardoch. So quick to pre-ult that Mega Gnar coming through. If he does not do that, he guaranteed goes down. The team may kind of fall apart there, and maybe they lose their base. Instead, he is able to. It makes it a 1-for-1 trade. They hang on a little bit longer, but TL are barely able to keep that inhibitor alive.
And of course, those regens, slowly but surely, they regain their health. Liquid sitting on this 8,000 gold lead. They are sizably ahead here. They have earned this advantage from some good team fighting. Small misgivings though there may have been. We can see 5 completed items on Pobelter. He's in a really big spot right now. Saving room for control ward's always nice as well. Ran to his Omen done for Impact. That's just the time.
Only DoubleLift with the no-no. Still has the Doran's Blade at 35 minutes for no pink wards.
The Crepo special.
But
hold on to a Doran's instead of buying a ward. always just make fun of that, and I actually agree with the man. But here we go, the push forward. Looking at a bit of a siege for EchoFox, hoping to get back from that 8,000 death
side. You know, he's potentially looking for that flank, but you know, Impact, you know, we talked about how he was, you know, down a lot of farm and down kind of gold in that individual 1v1, but he's had a lot of time in side lanes now, so he has really started to kind of take some side lane precedence. He is getting more and more of that farm, and they're going for the play.
The flash get out in the ultimates though, and this could be a lot of health running out on Liquid's side. Olleh down to 1/3 right here. Both are on the run, but now Huni wants in. He's popped right to Glory. A nice knockback keeps that safe though, and they cannot reach him anymore. Dardoch pops the ulti, but now the health bars, you gotta watch for those. Can he get bursted down? He walks away, and will they get the re-engage? He has Zilean on him, so he's gonna walk forward, but the disengage too clean for Liquid. No casualties here, out they go, and missing ultimates. Some important ones on Liquid side, and EchoFox as well.
Yeah, and the Baron is spawning. EchoFox has their base being pushed by these minions, so TL was pinging over towards the Baron. They're looking to actually chase.
Oh, Xmithie pops the Zonias by time. He'll be stunned on the wake up though, and he Zonias again to time it out. I like that. These Zonias into stopwatch. That combo has been cool. We saw that earlier in Europe as well. That's a really nice one.
Expensive to pay there, but they are now onto the Baron. Their base is being pushed. TL closing in. This is risky for EchoFox.
They're going to have a Cho'Gath Beast. They should get this smite every time, and they do. So that's picked up. No, Xmithie, he's going to fall down. Tahm Kench grabs the credit. Impact gets the ulti across, and they've gotten the kill already. Lost is gone. 4v4. Can they get the rest? This one is another kill falls, and Liquid are starting to clean up the fight. Dardoch's next to fall, and Damonte has to run away. He's got to revive and defend his base.
Impact just needs to chase him. If he can stop this base, they could actually end potentially here. But he can't stop the base, and maybe he can clear out these minions now. This may allow them to keep the game going. He's got to clear the wave as fast as possible.
Lots of minions gone, but there's a lot of time. 25 seconds in the bot lane, 40 on the frontliners, though. As Impact's pushing in, they might be able to. The inhib's going to fall, and the wave is not gone just yet. Damonte needs to blow these all up, but he'll only get half the wave. And it's starting to push in. Backdoor bonus taken off now. 10 seconds on the bottom lane to somehow win a 3v4. They're going for the kill on Damonte. He's putting out the bombs that he can. He's still got the ultimate as well. It's all down to time. Tahm Kench up in 3 seconds, but they're on to the Nexus. Liquid gonna secure the first place seed in the playoffs as they knock down the kill and they knock down the Nexus.
And what a game, what a season from Team Liquid. The Spring Split champions locking in first place here. Week 9 of the NALCS, and it was a hard-fought game there, right down to the wire. Echo Fox decide to make that move for the Baron. They commit, they get the Baron, but they lose the fight and they lose the game because Teal had minions already in position.
Really well done. The whole team making it work really nicely. So Echo Fox still hunting for the postseason. Not guaranteed that spot just yet, falling down to 9 and 8. Temporarily below Cloud9 and some other squads right here. But Team Liquid, a team effort. DoubleLift said before the game, he and Olleh were better than Lost and Smoothie. He was looking forward to the matchup because they would win it, and he was right. A CS lead in the 2-on-2, and then one glimpse of pressure, and that was first turret. And DoubleLift remained ahead all game long, 7-1-4 his scoreline. Most CS, a lot of damage as well. Absolutely a good performance. Pobelter on the Azir he wanted to play, also a pretty solid game.
Yeah.
Overall, Liquid deserving of it.
Definitely the case. You know, Pobelter and DoubleLift taking over in those later stage team fights around the Baron. Yes, it was some of the members going down for Team Liquid, but when those two carries are alive, they can do so much work.
Yeah, so great team fighting for Team Liquid. And now to send it over to Olleh, standing by with DoubleLift.
Thanks, guys. DoubleLift, congratulations on the victory and for securing that first seed bye going into playoffs. How is the bye really going to help you guys strategically coming in?
You know, I have no idea. Honestly, my heart's going crazy. That didn't feel like a regular season game because we really wanted to win, and securing the bye is really nice. I think last time we had to play Cloud9 in the first round. That was really hard because you know, every team that's in the top 6 is like, they're just really good. Making playoffs now, especially with like franchising and just like how strong the teams are, it's just crazy. So every team that makes it and every step that you can take through playoffs, it's really important.
So then tell me about that winning moment, because you popped up, Olleh popped up, everyone behind us was just talking. What was it like taking that win?
It felt really good. I think there was a lot of just really close moments, a lot of crazy shot calling going on. There's times where like it was just pure chaos and I couldn't understand what anyone was saying, and there was also times when you know, we were calm. It was like the calm before the storm. So that game was honestly really hard. They had Zilean, kindred, Cho'Gath really hard to kill. So we had to play super smart, like, and I'm really proud because we don't really practice that much against that kind of comp in practice in scrims. So to be able to like play well against it on stage, I was really nervous. You know, I was really nervous. Zilean, kindred, it's like it's creeping up in NALCS, and it seems really annoying. So winning that was really nice.
Now, you say you're nervous, but coming to this game, you had a lot of trash talk for Fox. I mean, is there any team in playoffs right now that is a threat to you guys?
Not really.
All right, well, you take on TSM tomorrow. They have no effect on your standings, I guess, but what do you think of TSM split so far?
Looking pretty boosted. I don't know if they're gonna make it, but I'm really glad I'm not in their shoes. You know, I've been there, and I don't want to be there again.
Thanks, DoubleLift. It's always a joy to talk to you, but for more on the game, let's hear from the State Farm Analyst desk.
Thank you very much. Olleh, we have our first opportunity to fold the foldy sheet with a Team Liquid victory here to secure first place in the regular season. So
I'm going for the tear.
Do it with
I
us. We get the tear right down the middle. We've got it nicely stapled together for us, so
please
do
recycle
that.
all this orange at the start.
Boom.
All the orange.
Hey, Mark, I got a trash can here for you. You can go ahead and dump that in there.
Thank you very much,
We
sir.
don't need that. And just like
This
that,
is a lot more manageable suddenly.
We've halved our possibilities.
And I loved the excitement out of the entire Team Liquid team after that game. Really positive interview from DoubleLift as well. I feel like their bottom lane is working better in-game than almost at any point in this split. I thought Olleh and DoubleLift played really well this game.
Yep, definitely good to see smiles on their faces, the excitement in securing that playoff bye. But now I want to dive into the game itself, and I'm going to start with the win conditions that were brought up, because, Mark, you had said for Echo Fox, copy C9. Well, they did exactly that in some ways, which was the draft.
There's parts I wanted them to copy and parts I didn't. So, like, I'm obviously not saying swap your whole roster out again like C9's doing. I was talking more specifically about how they played around mid, and while they copied a pretty similar draft to C9 with the Zilean kindred, you have a tank in the top lane, which is often what C9 does, and then Tahm, Kench in the bot lane they did once or twice. I like the draft overall, but you need to be able to play it. They didn't go super aggro around mid quite like C9 did, and their bot lane got obliterated And that was a big problem for me.
Yeah, so I thought draft-wise that it's an acceptable draft from both sides. I feel like this is a draft that highly just comes down to execution on either side. Who wins the Kindred alt wars? Who wins the Zilean alt wars, so to speak? And I thought Team Liquid just outplayed them.
Yeah, and I actually think it was Echo Fox favorite. I disagree a little bit because I don't think Damonte showed that he was anywhere close to the Bjergsen or Jensen level Zilean, which you probably need to even try this comp, and I think that was the big problem, as well as the bot lane getting blasted as hard as they did. It's not a winning matchup, but usually you take Ashe into the Varus because you can make it through those laning phases, and 11 minutes, no ganks, no pressure, they go down without a turret, and they down 20 CS. I mean, those are things to me that if you go into an even game and execute, I actually really like Echo Fox's comp.
When C9 broke this out, we had hypothesized the difficulty of execution around the Zilean Kindred. And then we kind of watched that very first game they played of it, and we're like, oh, maybe it's not that hard because they seem to do it really well. It almost lulled us into thinking that it was simpler than it was, and I think Echo Fox, to your point, Mark, kind of displayed some of the difficulties in execution when it comes to layering these ultimates and really using them optimally.
Yeah, and you have to remember that Team Liquid's team composition with Gnar ultimate, Gragas ultimate, and Azir ultimate have 3 mass displacements that can push someone out of the Kindred ultimate. So previously in other Kindred ultimate, Zilean ultimate fights, the Kindred would just ult, and then Zilean would ult Kindred. So you win the Kindred alt wars that we're kind of calling it. But that doesn't work in this team composition. My opinion is most cases, Zilean ults first, Kindred ults second, should be the order. And I don't think that Echo Fox had that down.
All right, I want to take a look at some replays here. We're going to dive into exactly the execution around the team fights for both of these teams. This one, 29 minutes in, an ace around the Baron.
And Echo Fox, despite some of those early game things we were criticizing them for, had largely stabilized to this point, but Pobelter goes in and overextends, and Dardoch drops his ultimate to allow himself to get out, but that also keeps Pobelter alive through the fight, which is what Jat was talking about there. If they just burned the Zilean ult initially, that probably would have been enough to win the fight, but because that doesn't happen, Pobelter's able to stay alive, and they have ability to kind of fight front to back.
And to talk about what we're seeing here, Damonte could have ulted Dardoch there, which would have kept Dardoch alive and killed Pobelter. But because Dardoch ulted, and then even though Damonte ulted Kindred afterwards, it didn't matter because he was CC locked from there and the fight was essentially over. So like DoubleLift said, it's really hard to play against that. And actually in that instance, Pobelter put the game in Echo Fox's hands, because if Echo Fox layers their ultimate differently, that's probably Baron to Echo Fox.
And I think, you know, to Jat's point, both sides have a lot of things to balance in this team fight about when to go and when not, because a lot of the times, like you were saying, the mass displacement is only a Gragas, but with 3 more, TL can choose who to go in and when, and sometimes Pobelter went in too soon and died as a result, because there was a fight after that where Echo Fox did not drop the Kindred ult and just killed Pobelter, and so both teams really had to adapt mid-game, and I think that's why DoubleLift was so proud of his team, being able to communicate well and figure out who needs to go in and when.
Again, I do want to point to exactly that. The interview and DoubleLift's comment about this not even feeling like a regular season game, you know, that they had kind of put the weight on it of a postseason game, knowing that, 1, this is tough competition they're up against, but 2, this is to secure that first round bye. It's to rebound and bounce back from the C9 loss, because let's not forget that they got somewhat obliterated in their second game just last week. But they also forced Echo Fox onto a 3-game losing streak, and now there's going to be some questions around this Echo Fox squad. 3 and 4 since the roster swap. And also scary.
Look at how that game ended. On a Baron that Echo Fox secures and a lost team fight. It's
Damonte not ulting.
And Huni did not look pleased. Damonte as well had a bad game on Zilean. They're still not clinched for playoffs. They do play clutch tomorrow. 10 wins gets you in. 9 might get you in. There's a lot of scenarios where they're in.
Right.
But they really wanted this win because their chance at a playoff bye is now gone. Their chance at first is now gone.
It was a team that at one point was in contention for first place. They were in that conversation, and now they're well outside it.
Yeah, so they're definitely not in the top. They're still most likely locked for playoffs. I mean, we have 130 scenarios remaining after we tore that in half.
128.
About, yeah, whatever. I'm rough estimating.
It always cuts in half.
I'm trying to keep it. I know that, and you have to go by factors of 2, of course, so I get it, but I'm just
Math on air, gentlemen.
Yeah.
All right, well, with that,
easier for the viewers.
our